Happy New Year. What we're going to talk about in this stream is developing your hustling superpower in 2020. It's the first of the year. We have a lot of stuff going on. We've got a lot of people with big plans. We've got folks getting ready to get up on it. Let's get this Wi-Fi bread. So one of the things that you've got to understand about developing your hustling superpower is what is your big desire? What is that big thing that has you gassed up? What is it that gets you so ready to get going, to get going, to make things happen? What is it that really gets your motor running? This is one of the things that, we got to talk about. What gets your motor running? What really gets a high level of desire in you to accomplish, to achieve things? So what is that thing that's going to get you going? Is it family? What is it? How do you tap into your superpower? Because see, when I was a kid, there was this show I used to watch all of the time. They would talk about people doing certain things and being able to, all right, this is wild. All right, here we go. This show that I used to watch, it would show people who had superhuman feats of strength. It would show, like, there was this one episode where this mother literally saved her children because she actually picked the car up. So we all have this superpower. And just for you guys who didn't get in on any of the specials are going until January 6th. Once again, all of the specials are going to January 6th. Price is not going up on anything. But we all have the ability to tap into a superpower. And I think the thing that's going to create that energy is desire. Tapping into your desire. Tapping into that secret set of principles that's going to make you do things. Uncle G, my motivations have a statement to make because most of my family thinks a job is the end all be all, and I'm going to show them that there's better. Congratulations. I was watching this documentary about drug addicts, and this guy said this in the documentary. He said, last year, I probably made $180,000 to feed my drug habit. And I did this video called the crackhead method without the high, or something like that. So here's this guy, he's in shabby clothes, he hasn't shaved, he looks unkempt. He made $180,000 last year. Now, what if you can tap into that? And he even said, if I can make this kind of money and not get high, I'd be good. What can you tap into where you can make that kind of money? And My motivation is financial freedom without limit. I want to help people and simultaneously live the life I want, how I want. Thank you for everything. Awesome, Douglas. Awesome. Yes, it's day one of 2020. Day one of the process. Day one to start getting ready. Day one to move it to the next level. So, once again, this is very, very important, because when I was in that boarding house, my first year or so, I was pissed off. And I didn't really and I was angry. I was very angry. And I was upset because I was living in this sucky boarding house with these people, these crackheads. And I was, as I processed the whole thing, because I had a lot to unpack: the dissolution of my marriage, losing my job, wrecking my car, moving into a boarding house, working all of these low wage hustles, low wage jobs. And I was angry and I was pissed off because every day I got up and I looked at the walls of that room and they were like gray and it was nothing special. And I was just like so upset. And it took me a minute. It took me going to therapy to figure out why I was mad. I was mad at me. Every day I woke up angry at myself for allowing what happened to me to have happened. And I was just like, wake up and be in a bad mood. And until I cleared up a lot of that stuff, it was hard for me to move forward. It's like trying to drive your car with the parking brake on. You're going to mess some stuff up. Douglas Jones, lived in the YMCA for a while. It was pretty bad, but it could have been worse. I know about upset. I mean, I was angry every day. It was just that first year. And I didn't understand that I was wasting time, because the anger renewed itself every morning that I woke up. Every morning that I got up, I was angry all over again. I was mad all over again. I was upset all over again. And what this does is it creates a circular pattern. You're upset, which makes you upset again in the future, but you don't do anything about it, because until I went to therapy, I didn't start working on why I was upset. And at the end of the day, when we finally figured it out, I was mad at me for allowing these things to happen. I'm mad at myself. Because see, here's one of the things. It's going to be hard to tap into your superpower if you're miserable. It's going to be hard for you to move to the next level. At your current level, you're miserable. It's going to be very hard for you guys to make these moves if you're operating in a bad environment, like taking from last night's stream, the 5 things you got to do for 2020. Well, to get to your superpower, you're going to have to dig deep. Remember, I was the same guy living in that boarding house, the same guy working in Rent a Crate. Well, I was a little altered when I got to Rent a Crate. I was a little altered when I got to business environments. Douglas Jones, fools were getting sexually assaulted on the regular. Prisons were dumping cons straight from the joint. I tried to warn folks, but they wouldn't listen. They got tore the hell up. Man, that's something that I am so glad that didn't happen to me. But I heard stories of people getting messed up on the streets. Just not a good look. But to develop your superpower, you're going to have to get into a great mental environment. You're going to have to get into a situation where you start to live your mental environment. Let's talk about this, because this is something the book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, illustrated to me over and over and over again. And it's in Earl Nightingale's Lead the Field. It's in many books. What you think about is what you become. What you think about is what you become. Art Arston, thanks for the $25 super chat. I broke up with my lady, can't bring that toxicity into 2020. That's one of the things I talked about, creating that mental environment. If you're in a bad relationship that does not support your goals, your aims, the way you want, you got to get out. You got to get out. You got to get out, man. But what you think about is what you become. And this is one of the things that happens to people, is a circular pattern of thinking. A circular pattern of thinking. You just go around and around in this loop. And some people go in this loop their whole life. In this circular pattern, just chasing their tail over and over and over again on a daily basis. Never moving, never thinking differently. Because going back, because I think it was Goethe or Ertu who talked about what a Buddha, what a man thinketh about is what he becomes. And this is one of the things that you're going to have to start thinking different thoughts to activate your superpower. There are people out there who are living in the ghetto, come from a dysfunctional family, and many of these people feel that they're doomed. They know better, but they don't know how to do better. Granddaddy was a drug addict. Dad was a drug addict. Mama was a drug addict. Family legacy of being drug addicts. Douglas Jones, our minds are so ferociously powerful we can actually heal ourselves on the fly. And that is something that is in the book, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind. Ray Sean Yomer, I've been thinking about money for 10 years. I'm still not a millionaire, not even a thousandaire. You've been thinking, you have not been taking action. See, this is where I kind of get off of the law of attraction bus. If you think about something, you get pictures, you have a vision board, then you take action, that's like cooking with gas. But if you just have the vision board, or you just sit and go like, I want a Porsche, and you don't start a company, you don't do anything to increase your income, yeah, you're going to be waiting a while. Art Arson, Earl Nightingale, the strangest thing was listening to that on my way to get my things from her house. Art gassed up. Art like, I'm leaving this toxicity behind. And that's what you got to do. You got to make bold and beautiful decisions for your life. Josh Hill, they try to term it as generational curses, a way not to take accountability. Well, one of the things that happens is we as humans are programmable. And if you get these generational curses in this bad environment, it's going to be very hard to fight against those forces because we're programmable. Because you're literally going to have to take yourself out of that environment. This is one of the reasons that just one side of my family I just don't mess with, because they're full of these generational curses. They're full of these bad habits. They're full of bad financial habits. And they look at you crazy when you're doing better. They start saying stuff like, oh, you want to act like white folks. So for some people, doing better, acting appropriately, living your life in a good manner is, quote, being white. That's crazy. Douglas Jones, we literally could create anything, anywhere. The key is putting in the effort. My ex-lover was terminal with sickle cell. She was petrified. That's a mess. That's a mess. Mike Elliott's a rat race. Every day we did breathing exercises based on Raja Yoga. Here's something else too. If there's something wrong with you, going on a 7 to 10 day water fast and just resting will heal up a lot of stuff. You ever notice, like, when you get a cut, your body instantly starts trying to heal that cut? It starts sending these cells to that area to clot up, to create a scab. The scab, under that scab, new skin is, it starts. So your body can heal a lot of stuff if it's given the right energy. Douglas, white folks, yes, I heard that far too many times. I heard people say those kind of things about people doing good. See, this is one of the things. This is why you've got to get yourself in the proper mental environment. Due to bad programming, we've got a lot of black people with bad programming out here who are spreading that stuff around. It's bad programming. If you do action A and action A yields a good result, that's not, quote, white behavior. That is success behavior. Black Caesar, thanks for the $20 super chat. Uncle G, this channel and the courses have changed me in so many ways. I'm going to hit the ground running by taking a lot more action. No sacrifice, no victory equals no reward. I want this to be my best year ever. Speak that into existence, young man. Speak it into existence, because from your mouth, from your thoughts comes your future. And this is why you got to have that successful mental environment where you don't have a lot of these yard birds or these malcontents or these people who are not about your success. The Hectrix, good motivational video. How this 41-year-old anesthesiologist living in New Jersey spends her 1.3 million income, takes home 75K a month, goes for the new decade. All right, Dr. Joe Disperanza. Because, see, this is one of the things, and this, is what Douglas Jones is talking about. Activating your mindset is a superpower. Once you get the right mindset, you can literally move mountains. You can literally do alchemy. And if you don't know what alchemy is, it is the science of turning one thing into something else. Let me go ahead and get into this alchemy thing, because this alchemy is powerful. All right, so here we go. Alchemy, the medieval forerunner of chemistry based on the supposed transformation of matter. It was concerned particularly with attempts to convert base metals into gold or to find a universal elixir. Now, we're about to get into the esoteric and we're about to get into the spooky. All right. When I was able to tap into my superpower, my mindset, like one of the first things I was able to do when I was in that room, I wrote my goals down. It is very important for you to write your goals down. So I wrote my goals down and I had a predicted outcome. I said, in a month or less, I'm going to get one of these jobs. That was my predicted outcome. It was written. I thought about it and I saw it and I sat down and I imagined myself getting the new job. And it worked. And I didn't understand what I had did because I had gotten laid off. I came home and I started to work and I activated my superpower. I didn't understand what I did until many, many years later. Because once again, I tapped into it again. I tapped into it because one of the things I used to do every day, and this just happened. One day I sat down and took a sheet of paper and a pen, and I wrote down how I wanted my day to go. And this is where the basis of the course Scripture Days, which will be coming to B School, the Hustlers. And I realized that every day that I took the time to do that, my days were great. Because I tapped into that superpower of the mental. And then, I'm about to get freaky deaky here. When I started using that stuff for the Craigslist protocols, whoo, man, the stuff that started showing up at my door, I was like, because I remember the first time I did it, I sat down and I wrote out exactly what I wanted to happen. That's the first part. Then the second part, I took action. You can't get this, you can write down all the type of stuff. You can write down all types of stuff every day. But unless you take action, it's not going to happen. And I took action. And I remember the first time it happened. And I remember the second time it happened. So to activate your superpower, you need to write down your goals as if they've already happened. That's how you need to write your goals. What's the show? Let's see. You used to watch all of the time. All right. That was just weird. All right. So it's a very powerful thing. It's a very powerful thing because we're going to bring that to B School for Hustlers. Douglas Jones, he has more than 500 scans of people actually healing themselves through meditation and visualization. I'm about to really blow y'all minds. When I was in that house, I met this girl and she wanted me to hang out with her one day, and we ended up into this transcendental meditation center where I learned how to meditate. And then I actually found another book that taught me another form of meditation. And in that boarding house, I used to meditate. I used to meditate, 15, 20 minutes. One day, I went for 45 minutes. I started seeing all types of stuff. I started seeing like visions. I haven't meditated for 45 minutes since. And what got me onto this, if you've never heard of the a magazine, Unti Reader. Let me see if it still exists. Because when I had a job, one night I was working at, oh, it's still around. It was a magazine. I used to work in the emergency room with Dr. Linda Settle, and she used to bring these magazines in, and this was one of them. And I was reading the magazine one night, and there was this article about this monk who used to meditate for an hour. He used to work out and lift weights, but he would meditate for an hour every day, and that would enable him to write for 3 or 4 hours a day. So this is one of the things that I used to do when I was writing a lot. So I brought all of that stuff back into me in that room. And I remember the first time that I meditated, I passed out. Because if you've never meditated, if you get into a good session, it's going to release all of this tension out of your body. And that's what happened to me. But that's where I learned that technique about meditating. And that released a serious superpower. If you meditate, because, I'm going to put together a course on this, all the steps and everything of what you need to do to release your superpower. It's life-changing. It is life-changing. Erica, those folks are hung over. A lot of folks were drinking last night. I don't really do affiliate marketing, so I don't know a lot about affiliate marketing. Oh yeah, the esoteric game, because this, once again, this is one of the foundational reasons for my success, is tapping into that mental superpower. Polly Robinson. So instead of saying something like, I want $1 million, we should write and say, I have $1 million, and then take action. Polly Robinson, you should say, I have $1 million because I've done X, Y, and Z. Then do X, Y, and Z. Righteous Media. Just send me an email to Glendon at HUndergrad, and I'll send you an invoice, and then we can get you into that. No, Agent J. Poole, the first few times you meditate, you're going to get super sleepy because here's the thing with meditation. It's about the art of being still. And in the beginning, it's going to be so hard because you're going to fidget. Your skin is going to start itching. Your skin is going to start crawling. All of this stuff's going on because you're not used to being still. You're not accustomed to being still. It's not normal for you to be still. It's not normal for you to have a quiet mind. Because when you quiet your mind and stop all of these crazy cravings, weird thoughts, and get to a tranquil place, you can do so many things. Because one of the things that meditation will do, like say you have a problem sleeping, and once you get good at meditation, your problems, you no longer have that problem going to sleep. Because one of the things that you've got to understand is how the mind works. Like there are people on my old Facebook page, people I went to high school with, who still think the same way that they did when we were kids. So they're going on 5 decades of thinking the same way. And if you think the same way, you're going to get the same outcomes. Like, once again, this is dysfunctional. But remember Big Mama from the movie Soul Food? There were many people who thought it was normal to get fat, because this is something they've seen so often. It's just like, well, one day I will be Big Mama. That ain't normal. That's becoming Big Mama is the manifestation of many bad habits: overeating, not exercising, not taking care of yourself. And many people think that they're destined to become Big Mama because that's how, well, my mama became Big Mama, her mama became Big Mama. It's these generational curses. All right, so H undergrad. There it is. So once again, this is why you want to maintain a positive mental environment. You want to maintain a positive, because see, once again, once you create this positive mental environment and you create, like, your home should be a sanctuary. Because this is something that I've put into practice with my last few girlfriends. We don't fight. We don't have these long, drawn out, stupid fights. Like when I was married, my wife and I would have a fight and I'd be upset and pissed off literally for 2 or 3 weeks. Every time I see her, I'd get instantly mad all over again. We wouldn't talk to each other. There was so much tension. There was so many bad feelings and bad behavior between us that I didn't understand that I was actually hurting myself. And the new policy is, if you got a problem with me, state it right now. Don't wait 2, 3 weeks. Don't hint around. State what your problem is with me right now. And I will do the same. Like if I got a problem with someone, I don't wait. I bring it up instantly. It's like, hey, this is what's going on. And that just saves so much emotional energy. You would not believe it. I know a gorgeous lady who was a star in the 70s, black exposure flicks, and who's in her 80s and looks like she's 37, doing vertical kicks. Everything is in the mind. You're the boss of your life. Let me show y'all something. Tony. Hey, Mickey. All right. This is from the 80s, right? We're not going to play any sound because she did this years ago, right? This woman is this is her back in the day. And this is her now at 74. Look at her. She is 74. She is 74. One of the things is she never stopped dancing. She never accepted that because I'm getting old that these things are going to happen. She kept dancing, and look at her. She still looks like she's 40. She looks like she's in her 30s. This is the power of the mind. This is the power of the mind. This is the power of staying active. Like on Facebook, you will see this 80-year-old bodybuilder who looks like she's 30 something. There are many people who have not accepted that I'm going to become Big Mama. She's 74. She's probably 76 now. This is the secret power that you can activate, which is not accepting the status quo. Because I'm going to be a certain age, I'm black, I'm old, I'm a woman. That's the power of your mind, man. That's the power of your mind. That's the power that each one of us has. Rod, for real estate, yeah, big mama type of people are the lifeblood of big pharmaceutical companies. Look at all the commercials. Yep. Speaking your piece on the spot eliminates the chance of years of misunderstanding to take place. No reason to keep it in. Absolutely. Staying active, Erica Williams, staying active, walking daily. If you see these young folks needing wheelchair assistance in the airport, because they ain't working out. Agent J Poole, yeah, that's why I showed y'all. I mean, this is that secret power we all have. All right, Ganja, good luck with that. Polly Robinson, I remember hearing somewhere that we don't get old because we age, we get old because we tell ourselves we're old. Oh yeah, that bodybuilder recently beat up a person who broke up into her house. What? David Goggins, the SEAL. Black don't crack as long as you don't crack. Been the bartender. Notice nobody be checking for big mamas. Hey, once again, I mean, this is one of the things that you can do. Man, she was beating him up with a broom. Can a startup, he who knows only his generation always remains always a child? You know, I'm just telling you about this superpower that you can activate in your mental. I know someone who's 26 and diagnosed with gout, and he uses a walking stick. That's what happens when you eat too many processed foods. Man, there's so many things that have happened that, and it's all about education and knowing better so you can do better. Because once you know better, you will do better. And this is why I'm sharing with you the secret power. Fear is the strongest emotion. Staying in fear can actually cripple and limit your success in life and defeat it. U.S. City Luncheon. I make $30 an hour and I feel like I can't save money because of my wife. Please tell me what to do. USA City Luncheon. Sit your wife down and say, look, we're going to change our family's financial DNA. And there are many behaviors that you're doing that are not working on that plan, and these behaviors must stop. Sit her down like an adult, address the problems, and say, we're going to start saving money. Rod, for real estate, hitting the gym now because all the food and drink has been rough over the holidays. I worked out already today, man. I'm getting back into it. It's in her packing. You know, once again, the mental, developing your hustling superpower in 2020. First, you write it down. Then you take action. Then you give yourself feedback. Because once again, with this esoteric stuff, Leah Dye, any tips on eating it? Go to the farmer's market and make most of your diet a raw diet. You can get stuff really cheaply at the farmer's market. But I'm here to tell you, yes, she was, man. It was Tony Basil. How old is she now? Tony Basil is 76 years old. And she don't look her age. She does not look. But see, she kept living. This is one of the things that happens with a lot of people on the Big Mama program. I'm this age, so I should be doing this. This is why I don't date women my age. I mean, you know, this is not, when I go on dating sites, I don't put 50, I don't put 53. You know what I'm gonna get? I'm gonna get people who are mentally dead. I can't do it. What do you mean a remote business model? Timothy LaFleur, actually, no. I have moved away from powerlifting. I'm doing more reps and I'm doing more cardio. Pumping numbers. When Tony did Mickey in 1979, I thought she was a teenager. See, this is one of the things. And this is why I like Asian philosophy. You know why the Kung Fu Master was the Kung Fu Master? Because he could beat up everybody in the dojo at the same time. That made him the master. And they believed in working out and taking care of themselves and acupuncture and all these other things. But once you get into the esoteric, like, I forget, I think it was, I remember seeing this documentary. I don't, it was an actor. I think it was Jimmy Cooper, but I'm not sure. He had his first child when he was 60. And there was a picture of him and this little kid skipping. And the kid appeared to be about 10, which means he was 70. And he was skipping with his daughter. He was skipping with his daughter. I want you to think about that. He had his first kid when many people become grandparents. Exist in nature media, I agree. Eastern medicine practices are awesome. Jakeem Javelin, most people want to be grown since high school, so it's important to have a young mindset but still be mature. Have a flexible mindset. Have a mindset that's able to adapt. Because like, here's the thing, like there are many social walls. Like if you go on the dating app and you want to date young women, many of the younger women are going to select the age filter of guys 5 years below them, maybe 5 years above them, which means you're going to get locked out. And, for someone like me, I'll just lie. And, if we get serious, I'll tell her how old I really am. But just to get into consideration stage, because I'm like, if you put you 53 years on Bumble, you're going to get all of these grandmas. They don't take care of themselves. They look scary. I'm gonna disagree with that a little bit, Timothy LaFleur. If the guy's wealthy, age don't matter. Harvey Weinstein was wealthy. Bill Cosby was wealthy. Look what happened to them. Benny, I want to have a kid, and now he didn't bounce. Distilled or filtered water makes a huge positive difference if you can afford it. Organic food. B-Flow, anything's possible with the right mindset. And that's the secret superpower. U.S. City Lunch, and this year I'll be able up to the max of $19.50 in my 401k. Should I do it? Well, once again, there's so many considerations. What else are you doing? How much debt do you have? I mean, once again, many things are happening once you develop this superpower, once you develop this flexible mindset. Because once again, once you start to deploy this stuff, because first of all, the proper environment for success. Once you create this environment, because success is a process, it's a matter of doing certain steps in the right sequence. And typically the average person's mind is so scattered. There's so many things that's going on mentally with the average person that they can't concentrate. They can't really think. Like one of the things I get on some of these longer streams is, man, it's an hour. Who's going to watch that? I was like, plenty of people watch it. I'm sorry you have a short attention span. That cold shower thing is a trip, because if you want to wake up real quick, jump in a cold shower. It will wake you up. I mean, I don't care how sleepy you are. You be acting like lightning struck you. So I want you guys to develop into your superpower in 2020. I want you guys to take stock of your lives. I want you guys to start developing better habits. Wim Hof methods. I mean, once again, you want to have a better life, you will start to do these things. And part of having a better life is to avoid always seeking comfort. Like, I'm not going to live in a van. That ain't happening. But I will take a cold shower. I will get into doing things that will create a better situation. Because mental environments are so important. Like if you're trying to start any kind of business, you need to have a home office, a dedicated home office with a computer where you can sit down and you can start looking and acting like the boss that you are. Because once you become a boss, once you open up your mind, once you set up certain things, then your life is going to be so crazy. because, I'm going to do the course, The Scripture Days, and it's a very powerful technique for making your life better. I'm going to add that to B School of Hustlers because, it's the first of the year. Right now, a lot of people are out of pocket. A lot of people are traveling. A lot of people are not going back to work until next Monday or the Monday after. So once again, Benny, you don't know. Because this is one of the reasons that I'm like, you can live to be 90 years old. So what's taking 5 to 8 years out of your life to focus on building? Because everybody wants it now. Like those Gigi Wentworth commercials. It's my money. I want it now. I want it now. And if you can develop a little delayed gratification and burn and grind for 3 to 8 years, the rest of your life will be so much better. Most of the people in the world shower cold. I didn't know that. Timothy LaFleur. A lot of this stuff I do mentally because it's a graduation process. Because essentially I work off the power of 6 because I own a business. And one of the things that has happened is my power to visualize things is crazy, is amazing. Like I dream in color. I can imagine something and sit down and visualize it and make it happen. We would be startled at how powerful we would be if we understood how powerful we were. We would be shocked. I actually took a class on habits today. Habit is key. You want to develop habits because because your habit, like the thing I said, you move and you're in your old neighborhood and you start driving to your old house even though you don't live there because it's a habit. Habits are the best thing. Good habits are the best thing. Bad habits are bad. Once you start developing some good habits and the power of writing stuff down, do you understand when you take a pen and a paper? I'm going to tell you a little story. When I started writing, and when I was in the East Point house, I used to write everything out longhand, and that's writing it on paper. And then when I started writing on a computer, it literally took me a few weeks to learn how to write on a computer. So you use a different set of mental muscles when you write something down on paper versus typing it on computer. And this is why I say, write your goals down. You activate different mental muscles when you write your goals down. Yeah, I've heard of James Clear. I know the power of habits. You want to develop habits because habits, all these folks who are going to run to the gym in January and sign up, and they're going to kill it for January, then they're going to fall off in February. Why? Because working out isn't a habit. I got sick in December, and I didn't work out for 2 weeks, and I had to reestablish that habit. Like the first thing I did this morning, I got up and I got on the treadmill. No, I don't write my goals every day. I have written goals for the month. Nope. If you're writing on a computer, it's a different process mentally than writing with a pen and paper. It's not the same. I mean, you want to use pen and paper to get the full benefit. There's just something about using a pen and paper, because you want to develop these habits. Because like I said, I'm going to release that course. I'll talk about it once I get that transferred over and some other stuff. One of the things that you got to understand is developing habits, good habits that support your life and your goals are so important. And this is why, no, a pencil or pen should be fine. This is why people who have money, who instill in their children how to have money, continue to have money. Because the family has a habit of having money. They know how to keep these good habits going. They know how to do what they need to do. I don't think you can have 4 Roth RAs. I think you can only have one at a time, because there's a limit. You can't have 4 Roth RAs because they have a limit to what you can contribute. Tim A, one only. All right, Timothy LaFleur. So, once again, letting you know that all of the holiday specials continue until January 6th. So if you felt you missed out, you can still jump on it. And with that, I will see you guys later.